Welcome back to another Iron Faith Wrestling instructional. Today we're going to be going over the fundamentals of wrestling. For each video I make, I have bonus content, so if you're interested, just check out my school community. Link is in the description. First, we want to start off with neutral offense. First thing I'm going to show you guys is your stance. You got to have a good stance in order to be an amazing wrestler. For a good stance, what you want to do is you want to take whatever leg is dominant and put it forwards. So I'm a righty, so my right leg is going to go forwards. A great way I show my kids how to get into a stance is I have them get into a track stance, almost like you're going to sprint. So I have them put the hands on the mat, just like this. After that, I have them pick their hands off the mat, put their elbows to their side, and bring their head up. That's pretty close to a perfect stance. Some other details with my stance. My forward leg is pointed directly at my opponent, just like this. My back leg or back foot is slightly turned outwards, okay? So my legs are like that. Some things to avoid. You do not want your legs in a straight line. You also may not want your legs too far split this way. It's about shoulder width apart, maybe a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. After that, I'm gonna bend at my knees and bend over at my waist, okay? I generally want my back to be curved and somewhat flat, if that makes sense. So my back is like curved in, but it's also, flat. I'm not necessarily standing up like this. The reasoning behind that is you want to have your head in a position to block shots. So I'm here, elbows are being in is very important. Okay, you never want the space between your elbow and your lat to be big. You want to make sure that space is small there. Okay, so your elbows are in. Your head is kind of looking at his chest here. Okay, don't look at his eyes, look at his chest. I'm right here, and you want to be low enough to touch the mat. This is the highest you should be. We call this a stance check, okay? Now I know I am in a good stance. I'm low enough, elbows in, head's kind of looking, down into his chest right here. My hands are in front of me, okay? So hopefully that can help you guys out with your stance. Now let's move on to the 3 most important takedowns in wrestling. I always start off by doing a scarecrow drill where your partner gives you no resistance to help you get the fundamentals down. So first we're going to go over our double leg takedown. Let's stand here. For my double leg takedown, I want to take my lead foot and step it directly in the middle of his feet. So we have 3 feet directly in a row. So I'm here, big step, right in the middle. From there, I'm going to push off my back foot, fall into him, and hit my right knee. My shoulder's kind of hitting him right in the belt buckle. As I drive off this foot, you can see that foot extending and this knee hitting the mat. Once I hit the mat, my back leg comes up, and then I'm going to pivot on my right knee until I get to the side of him. Again, in a good stance. Check, am I low enough? Perfect. Big step in. Grab behind both legs, and I'm pulling my legs in as I do the proper footwork, right? Drive here, hit this knee as I pull myself in. Once my knee hits the mat, my back leg comes up and steps, then I pivot on this knee. My foot pivots around, and I look across my opponent's back. Now I'm going to show you guys the finish. So I'm here. Big step, pull yourself in, left leg steps around, pivot. Now, once I'm here, I'm pushing off my left leg and stepping up with my right leg. So pushing off my left, stepping up with my right, and my right foot's gonna point in this direction over here. My body's upright, my hips are in. Once I'm here, I can hit my right knee and pull the legs in tight. Show you guys one more angle. This last angle, I'll have my partner get in their stance, just so it makes a little more sense. Big step in, grab the legs, knee goes to the mat, step around, pivot, push off this leg and step my foot across. Here, pull these legs in tight, head's driving in as my knee hits the mat. Next takedown is the high crotch. With the high crotch, it's very similar to the double leg, but you're gonna grab one leg instead of two. So we'll start scarecrow, big step in, knees going to the middle, hands are grabbing around one leg. So I'm grabbing and I'm very high up on his leg. I don't wanna be down on his knee, I'm high up. Same thing, push off my left leg, my right knee hits the mat. Step up. When I step up, I want my hip to be touching his knee, hips in. Now I pivot and my left elbow punches him in the hamstring as I look across his back. Again, big step in, drive. My hands are locked. I like to grab my own wrist. Then my left leg comes up. I pivot, and my left elbow is going to punch him in the hamstring, the crease of the elbow. Here, looking across the back. Now I'm going to show you what the finish looks like. Big step in, drive, step up, pivot. Once I'm here, I'm taking a big step up and picking the leg up on the outside of this leg. Here. Once I'm here, I then switch to a double leg and drive to this knee as I pull the legs in tight. Let's show one more angle, this time where our partner's in our stance. Big step in, grab the leg. I'm pulling myself in. Leg steps up, and I pivot around, punching my back elbow deep. I stand up and shelf the leg across. From here, now I can switch up the two legs and drive to my knee. The third shot is a single leg takedown. Now the footwork is a little bit different. Instead of stepping in the middle, I'm gonna take my right foot and step it to the outside, pointing at my opponent. So I'm in my stance. My back foot a lot of times will step in so I can get closer. Then my right foot steps and points at my opponent. At that point, my knee lands behind his heel and my left leg swings backwards so we're in a straight line. Here's what I mean by the straight line. We're like this. Okay, so I'm here, I swing to here. Hand in between the leg is locked. I like to do a gable grip, so my hands go like this. Back hand, the hand in between the leg, locks on top. Head up into the armpit, and I'm just like this, squeezing the leg tight above the knee. Again, I'll get closer, big step in, drop the knee behind the heel, swing the legs around, and lock. Another angle, big step in, pointing at my opponent, knee hits the mat behind the heel, leg swings, just like that. Now stay in that position, I'm gonna hit a finish now, okay? Big step in, knee hits the mat, swing backwards, lock. Once I'm here, I'm driving up and into him. My head stays in contact with the side the entire time. I'm here, ready? Okay, once I'm here, elbow is deep behind his hamstring and my lock is up here. My lock is not here, okay? My left hand will now grab the shoe as I drive in and pick the leg into my armpit. From here, shoelaces are in my armpit. I lift with two hands or two arms and trip, and I cover on top. Show you guys that one more time in our stance. So I'm here, step, knee hits, lock my hands in the correct position. I drive up and in, head staying in contact with his side. Now I step in, lift the leg up into my armpit, and I can trip behind and cover on top. Last neutral offense move I want to show you is a snap down go behind. We're going to do this from a collar tie and an inside tie. So I always post with my back hand before making contact. So post, then I'm going to grab his neck. Post, with your hands just like that. Grab his neck. Then I'm gonna grab right on his tricep, and my partner's gonna grab my elbows. From here, I'm gonna push into him a little bit. When he pushes back, with all my upper body and lower body, I'm gonna pull him to my foot and step my foot back. So pull his face to my foot and step it back. From here, I grab his chin with the hand that was on his head. My shoulder goes into the middle of his back. I can then pull his elbow to the mat, grab his leg, and circle behind. One more time with the snap down. Post, the back hand, grab the neck, grab the tricep. I push in a little bit. When he pushes back with both hands, similar to the rope, battle ropes, big lift, pull him underneath of you. My head's above him, right? Switch your right hand that's on the neck to the chin. Pull one more time. Grab the leg. Hustle behind. Now moving on to neutral defense. We're gonna learn how to defend a single, a double, a high crotch, and we're gonna learn the basics of a front headlock. So my opponent hits a single leg on me. When they hit a single leg, I want to stuff my opponent's head, so use my right hand in this case to push his head underneath my stomach. Then my opposite hand is gonna do what's called a whizzer, and it's just gonna hook in my opponent's armpit. From here, I'm gonna sprawl my legs back and then cover my belly button on the back of his head. So stuff the head, whizzer. Now my legs are gonna go away, and then I'm gonna put my belly button on the back of his head. Once I'm here, I can push on the legs a little more if I have to. Once he let go of my lock, grab his leg, circle myself around. One more time from this angle, right here. Look at what the left hand is doing. Hook the armpit, stuff the head, sprawl away. Legs go away, belly button the back of the head, push away if you have to. Right hand grabs the hamstring or even the ankle, and I circle myself around. Now my partner's gonna hit a high crotch on me. For a high crotch, everything's very similar. Stuff the head, hook the armpit. This time my belly button's gonna go on his shoulder. So I sprawl back. Now my belly button goes on his shoulder. I wanna be not sprawling in a straight line with him, but off at a little bit of an angle here. And as you can see, my hips are pushing in. From here, I can lift up on this ankle and circle behind. Another thing you'll notice is whenever I sprawl, my legs are even. They're equal. I don't have one leg straight or the other. They're even. So we're here, stuff the head, whizzer, sprawl your legs back. Now look what I mean. So circle this way a little bit. My legs are even. I don't have one leg straight. I don't have another leg straight. They're even and my hips are pushing in. From here, grab the ankle, circle behind, get your takedown. Last sprawl from the double leg, my partner shoots a double leg. From here, stuff the head, whizzer, and I want to step my right leg back and try to give him what we call a single leg, right? So we're here. I want to step my right leg back and hit him with my left hip. So this leg comes back and I sprawl my left hip into him. After that, we're just in a regular single defense, belly button on the head, grab the ankle, keep your hips in as you circle behind. Again, my partner is in on a double, whizzer, stuff the head, smash my left hip into him. I want to give him the same leg that has the whizzer. I'm jamming him with the whizzer too. Boom. Twisting. Then I cover my belly button on the head, go for the ankle, circle behind. Last thing I want to go over for neutral defense is our basics of our front headlock. My partner's down in this position. Shoulder in the middle of the back. Right hand, grab the chin. Left hand, grab the tricep. And I'm right here. As you notice, the hand that has the tricep, that same foot is up. I'm not like this. Left foot's up, left hand has the tricep. From here, I'm gonna push into him a little bit, When he pushes back, I'm gonna pull his face and his elbow down to the mat. Pull him down. Once his head and elbow hit the mat, I take a big step, grab his leg, and pull myself around. Again, let's rotate this way. I'll show you guys this one more time. Chin, shoulder right here. Keep your elbows in tight so you don't want his head to pop out, so keep him underneath you. Other hand has the tricep, and the left leg is up. I push, he pushes back, I pull down, bring my body up, grab his leg, and circle and get my takedown. Now moving on to top. For top, I want to have a good understanding of the arm chop breakdown and the spiral breakdown. For our arm chop, my right hand is on his stomach, my left hand is on his elbow. I prefer all my fingers wrapped around just like this. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lift his hips off the mat and over top of this arm. So circle this way real quick. So I'm gonna do this. With my hand that's on the stomach, I'm gonna lift and drive up. As I do that, watch the power of my leg. I straighten my leg out to use my leg too. Push, okay? As I drive him up, the hand that has the arm just pushes the arm in and I collect his wrist, okay? So I'm here, I've got a tight waist, I'm driving with my leg, and I'll put my leg back, I'll drive again and collect that wrist. Once I've collected his wrist, so circle this way, tight waist drive, I collect the wrist. Once I've collected the wrist, he no longer has an arm here to stop himself from falling over. So all I've got to do is continue to drive my right leg into him and he'll flatten out this way. And I push my hip in like that, almost like I'm sprawling into his hip. So look at the power of chop is not this, it's driving using my legs. Drive, pull the arm in, and just keep driving over that shoulder and pushing your hips in to flatten him out. Now let's move on to the spiral breakdown. Spiral breakdown, the hand that had the elbow is now going to go underneath and grab the shoulder. As you can notice, my left knee is on the side of him, my right leg is up behind him. But going back, left hand that had the elbow scoops and grabs the shoulder. Right arm that had the belly button grabs the the side of the leg like this. From here, again, I use my legs and I circle him to try and get his elbow to hit the mat. So I'm gonna pull down on the shoulder, up on the leg, just like this, in a little bit of a circular motion. Down on the shoulder, up on the leg, get that elbow to hit. Once his elbow hits, the hand that had the shoulder turns facing downwards, grabs the wrist, I pull it in. Now we're in the same position. I can drive my hip right into this angle here so he flattens out on the mat. One more time. Shoulder, spiral, I'm pulling down, I'm using my back leg to drive, and I'm pulling up on the hand that's on the leg. Boom, the elbow hits, grab the wrist, pull it in, drive your hip in and break them flat. Now, pinning somebody in wrestling. In order to pin somebody, lay on your back, they have to be flat on their back. So there's certain techniques I'm about to show you that get them here. So my goal on top is to put them to their back so he's flat just like that, and I get the pin. Sit up a little bit. A pin is on this portion of the back. So you want to get this upper part, touching the mat. First one I'm going to show you is a half Nelson. My partner's flat on their stomach. My right arm reaches underneath, grabs the wrist, and I pull it in tight. My left hand is going to crawl forwards. My fingers crawl forwards. Then I'm going to reach up and grab the back of his neck. I like grabbing kind of a little bit higher though, because if you grab too low, sometimes they can pinch in. So I go a little bit higher up on his head. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my chest on the back of my hand, up here. Bring your chest up high. Then I'm going to start punching my knuckles to the mat. Once my knuckles hit the mat, I can adjust backwards, drive again, and as he goes over, I start scooping around his head. So that hand starts jamming in between the space right here, scooping around his head as I drive and look for the pin. Show you guys that one more time. Right hand goes under the right armpit, grabs his hand. I like grabbing right at the hand and pulling it in. Other hand crawls forwards, grabs the back of the neck. My chest goes up high, almost in the back of my hand. I drive with my feet over this angle right here. So I'm not driving straight that way, I'm driving up high. Get my knuckles to the mat. Once my knuckles hit the mat, I can shift backwards, drive as I continue to scoop around the head. Look at this elbow. This elbow drops to the mat. Elbow drops as I look for the pin. It's very important not to drive too soon, or you might find yourself reversed. Next two turns that you must know, cradles. My partner steps up with the leg on the opposite side of me. We can do a far side cradle. All I'm gonna do is stand up tall. My left elbow is gonna go on the back of the neck. Right elbow is gonna go behind the knee. And I'm gonna lock my hands up in that same gable grip for the single leg, okay? Lean over top really far. Lock my hands together just like that. From here, I circle backwards, pull him back to his back. Bottom knee goes in his side, head in his temple. Again, partner's on bottom. He rotates up. I'm on this side. Stand up tall. I want my collarbone to be way over top, just like this. Lock my hands, elbow joint behind the knee joint. I'm gonna circle, and we're both gonna have the same leg up. We both have our right leg up, and I'm on the side of him. Pull him back. Put your bottom knee into the side of his hips and my head in his temple to make sure he goes flat. Next cradle's a near side cradle. So my opponent rotates this leg up on the same side I'm on. From here, elbow behind the head, other elbow behind the knee. Lock that gable grip up and put your head right in his hip. From here, I'm gonna drive him over to his hip, and I'm gonna continue to drive him to a front bridge. Drive him up, right to a front bridge, just like that. Front bridge is where you're on your forehead and your toes, just like that. One more time. Partner rotates this leg up, elbow behind the knee, elbow behind the neck, lock the gable grip up, drive him over to his hip, then finish in that front bridge. Last thing I'm gonna show you for bottom is a mat return. So my partner's on his feet. Go ahead and stand up. Once they get to their feet and you're behind him, you're gonna wanna lock your hands together. I'm gonna show you a kind of lazy man mat return, we'll call it. I'm gonna circle to the side of him. My left knee is gonna block his leg. So I'm gonna lift the leg that's in front up in the air and pinch his leg like this. Once I do that, I'm just gonna lean forward to try to get his hands to touch the mat. So I have a good lock, leg is blocking, I'm gonna lean forwards. Once his arms touch the mat or his hands, I let go, because if you have your hands locked, it's locking hands. One more time. I have my lock here. I block, I lean forwards, his hands touch, I unlock. Okay? Now moving on to the bottom position. On bottom, my main focus is keeping a very strong base. So my partner's on top of me. I want to make sure I'm keeping a very strong base. They're going to do a lot of things to you. They're going to chop you, all right? They're going to do the spiral like we learned. They may cross face, all right? And you've got to be prepared to battle through all those different attacks. Now, when I'm on my base, I want my knees wide. I want to sit my weight back as low as possible. A top wrestler wants you forward and wants you leaning like this. I want to push myself back and keep my weight on my hips. Head slightly up so I don't get cradled or half Nelson. Shoulders down just like this. Show you a couple different angles like here, right? Head up just like that, okay? Now I want to show you guys my favorite stand-up. It's called a tripod stand-up. So my partner's on top. Most of the time they're going to chop or spiral on the same side that they're on. So when they go do that, my hands turn like this. My butt shifts over this heel. My left foot sticks out and faces him, and I rotate my left leg up. As I do that, after I do that, I push all the way up to my feet. From here, I block him from locking his hands, and I turn and face him. Let me show you that once without a partner. Show you two different angles. I'm here, hands go over here, shift, stick my left foot out, rotate up, head up. You want to be just in this position. You don't want to be too crunched in there. You want to be just like that, head up as I keep pushing up, block him from locking, and turn and face. Another super important position to be good at on bottom is a sit-out position. So my partner is maybe too strong and I'm having trouble doing that tripod stand-up. I'm having trouble getting up to my feet. From here, I can step my opposite leg up and sit all the way through like this onto my butt. In this position, I want my partner directly behind me. I don't want him to the side here or he'll be able to drive me over or cradle me. So you want to keep him directly behind you. Head up, back straight. Another thing you want to do is you don't want them to, I guess turn this way so they can see this angle. You don't want them to crunch you like this. You also don't want them to pull you back and pin you this way. So you got to find a good balance where your body is upright and he's directly behind you just like this. From this position, there's several techniques you can use to get out, but I just want you to understand this sit-out position. Him directly behind you, head and chest up. Don't let him push you in. Don't let him pull you back. Now use your hands to keep balance and scoot yourself. So if he pulls me back, I can scooch my butt backwards to keep my body in that straight line. Okay? Last thing I want to show you is the back bridge. If you ever get pinned, you have to be able to back bridge. I'll show it without a partner first. All I'm going to do is push off of my toes and heels up onto my head, and I'm going to turn to my stomach. Okay? So when my partner has me in a pinning combination, we want to bridge. I normally want to get my hand through this space here, so I'll bridge up into my head and shoulder and turn to my stomach. Simple as that. If you're interested in learning the 10 biggest beginner mistakes, just check out my school community. Link is in the description of this video. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys, and until next video.